Yes, sir. Can you hear me? 1, 2. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. Let me just get this off.
Max Fine, what's up, bro?
Hey, dude.
Dude, we met like almost a year ago. Now.
Really?
Do you remember? Okay, so we both did this show, Weeding Out the Stoned.
Oh, get out of town. Yeah, dude.
NYC. And when we first met, I remember we were talking to like a big group of people. I've been doing this vlog now. It's called Ted Jones Vlog for about a year now. And not one of the first episodes, maybe like 3 months in. So it's probably like episode 30 or something. I did like a vlog just basically on that show.
Really?
And you're in the back there.
No way.
All smoking weed in that.
Yeah, of course. I didn't know that's where we met. Yeah, that rules, dude. Hell yeah. I'm kind of high right now. This is great, man.
Beautiful. So Max Fine, dude, you have a podcast of your own, and I see you're all over the place throughout the city. So give us the rundown on your life, man, and where you're from, and how long you've been in New York.
Oh shit, dude. Well, I'm from Atlanta originally, and I've been here like 5 years. But yeah, dude, I have a podcast with another comic, Michael Rowland. He's like, we grew up together. He's like my best friend in the world, and we just kind of get high together and listen to music and do characters, dude. And I don't know, man. I'm trying not to take anything too seriously this year, and that's kind of what this podcast feels like, is just us having fun again.
When did you guys start it?
Recently, like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But I mean, we've been hanging out with each other since we were 14, so it's kind of just like a continuation of that. And we're just like, fuck, dude, let's put a $sign on this and make some money, dude. So,
did you guys move here together?
No, but we used to live together in Atlanta. We went to high school together. I moved up here like a year and some change before him, I think. We're both from Atlanta. He started in LA and then came back home, but. Yeah, man, that's my dude.
Nice,
yeah.
Man. So enjoying Brooklyn, you told me you were just coming from.
Yeah, I like Brooklyn fine. I've been there. I'm in central Brooklyn now. Dude, I used to live in fucking Bush. We can curse, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dog. I used to live in Bushwick, and I just fucking hated it so much.
So you went like a couple stops, what? Is it south?
Nah, dude, more than a couple. Whole different train line, dude. I'm in a new planet, man. I'm in Crown Heights now. I'm close to the park. I'm close to like trees and shit. I'm not 23 anymore, dude. I can't keep up with the cool hip people in Bushwick, dog. I need quiet. I need a nap every now and then.
Do you find yourself going to Bushwick, though, for a lot of spots? There's a lot of action there.
Yeah, I mean, I go, but I don't have to go home there, which is huge.
Why didn't you like it compared to Crown Heights, though?
I think it's just because like I've never been somebody with enough money to enjoy Bushwick the way I wanted to. If I had like big boy drug money and I was like 25 running around. That's the thing, dude. I got too old, man. I can't stay up till 4 a.m. anymore. I don't drink anymore. I'm no fun, and Bushwick's full of fun people.
Yeah.
I'm just an old bitch. You get a lot
of that out there, and then like also people have a lot of space, so if you're in like a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, like everybody's pretty comfortable there. Even though everybody shares a bathroom, that's like what you do when you're right out of college or early 20s or whatever. That's the beauty of Bushwick. And sometimes, I've heard it, it could get anywhere from like where some kids that I know were paying $1,100 just for like a bedroom in Bushwick, and then sharing a bathroom.
Too much, man. I think I paid like $700. $750 was the last place I lived in Bushwick.
How many years ago was that? It was a few years ago?
Like 2.5. So, I mean, how old are you?
I'm 30.
I'm 30 also, and it's like, dude, when I hit like 27, I was like, there's no fucking way we're doing another year of this, man. I don't know, and now I've got space. I've got laundry in my unit. Oh, wow. I'm an adult now, dog.
Fucking living, dude. So I used to work at my dad's real estate company before I got like fully immersed in comedy.
Yeah.
And part of my job was being a property manager. I was in Bushwick like at least once a week.
Are you from here?
Yeah. So I'm from Manhattan. I grew up in Manhattan. Was born in Jersey. Spent 6 weeks there, and then moved to Manhattan. And then went to school here. So I'm a New York kid at heart. But anyway, was going out to Bushwick like once a week. I kind of saw the slow transformation just because like right before the pandemic is when I was working there, and then like a few months after we got back to the office, I kind of told my dad I was going to wrap it up. But just being in Bushwick and seeing the transformation of like guys like yourself paying $700, $800 for a room to now, bro, kids easily paying anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200
so fucked.
and sharing a room.
You don't have to live like that. I don't, dude. I wish when I moved to New York, somebody told me you do not have to start in Bushwick.
Well, where would you have started then if you could go back and
where I am now, dude? Park Slope, Crown Heights, somewhere near Prospect Park.
Wouldn't you say that's more expensive though than a Bushwick, especially in the area that you're living in?
I don't know, man. You can find it. Like when I first moved to Crown Heights, I was paying the same amount I was paying in Bushwick, and my quality of life shot the fuck up.
Because of what though?
Just because, dude. Well, I was living there when the L train was a nightmare. When it was like they were doing the work, so getting anywhere was a fucking pain in the ass. Now, dude, I can like walk to Prospect Park, which especially during the pandemic was huge for me. Like just being able to go to a place outside where it's like, fuck, it's not just a bunch of kids like on ketamine that are trying to figure out like where to
Even
eat.
though that's fun once
It's
in a while.
great, dude. I love that. I hated living there because it was like on my front porch, it would just be kids passed out. And it's like, yeah, dude, this rocks. But like, I gotta go to fucking work in the morning, dude. I gotta like go temp in a fucking spot in Red Hook for a couple hours. Like, you gotta get out of my way, dude. And now it's like, oh, I can walk, dude. I got a coffee in my hand. I'm not fucking inundated with it.
Mornings, especially when you're walking through that park, I'm sure it's great.
It's the best,
and
dude.
it's definitely a lot different than probably. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Growing up in Atlanta suburb or in the city.
I like the suburb, but like right at the edge of the city.
But being able to walk every morning is completely different. Than
Yeah, dude,
childhood.
for sure, man. I mean, I moved to New York when I was 25, so I had like early adulthood in Atlanta, and it was like, I got my partying out. That's not true. I got the start of my partying out in Atlanta where I was like, all right, I know how to fucking hang, dude. And it's not the same. Bushwick, even like, I know people that moved to New York, like, I've never been to Bushwick. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And it's like, it's its own thing, man. Yeah. And it's cool and it has its place and it's there. And I don't need to be a part of it anymore. And I think once I hit 30, I was like, finally like, yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss like doing poppers in a bar basement and being like, no, it's Tuesday. This is fun, man. It's like, nah, dude, I want to shower every day. I want to like.
Did you go to college in Atlanta?
Yeah, Georgia State. I tried it. Yeah,
All
Georgia
right.
State.
Nice. That's like Georgia State. I feel like gets shouted out in a lot of rap songs.
No, UGA does, dude. Georgia State has no discernible sports team. It has like the ugly dog. We were rated the 3rd ugliest campus in the U.S. like last week. It's gross.
Wait, is there a Georgia Southern also?
Yes.
Maybe that's
so Georgia Southern, dude. Georgia Southern kids are fucking weird, dude. Those are party animals. They were.
But why Georgia State? They had like a full. I don't even know. How did they, the ugly meter? How did they
It's
handle
all
that?
a parking lot. The entire campus was built on parking garages. So every building, it's like they don't have stairs. They're ramps that are just steep as shit. The city itself is not that pretty. Like Atlanta downtown kind of sucks. There's nothing going on.
Okay.
And that's where the campus is.
Where's like the famous strip club, Magic City?
Magic City's like 15 minutes south of Georgia State. That's one,
That's
dude.
close by.
One famous strip club. We've got so many, dog.
Yeah, right.
And
King of Diamonds too, right?
there's all kinds. I mean, the one that I hung out at the most, like my neighborhood bar was the Claremont Lounge.
Okay.
And it's only old women.
It sounds like a fancy name for a lounge. Though.
It does.
Claremont
Dude.
Lounge.
It does. It used to be a hotel. I think it's a hotel again now, but it was like condemned when I lived there, and they've redone it. It's very fancy. But the basement was a strip club filled with women that were 65 and older, and it fucking ruled. You could smoke cigarettes inside. You were in the cut, dude. You could do whatever you wanted. Get away with however you wanted to live and just hang out and exist. And I think it's kind of changing, and it's really bumming me out.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, man, I don't know. You're from New York. I'm sure it's like you watch it in waves every day since you were a kid. I'm sure.
Man.
Like
it's changing, and like I remember initially, just right at the beginning of the pandemic, people were saying New York is done. New York is done.
Yeah.
And just no matter what, like anytime New York bottoms out or whatever it is, you think about like the 2008 crisis. It just always comes back.
Yeah,
like There's always a point where you can tell it's bottomed out. You know, like there's not really like it's bottomed out. Maybe it'll bottom out more, or maybe it'll bottom out more. There's always kind of like okay, now this is when the rents are going to be the cheapest.
Yeah.
This is when people don't want to be here the most, and then it's only going to increase in population and size like that year over year.
so, could you tell that in 2008 too? Or were you like
2008, bro? We were like fucking 12, so I didn't really.
Yeah.
No,
16, 17, yeah.
So like, not really. It was just like me going to high school, and I was playing tennis in high school. I played tennis in UConn, so like I was kind of oblivious.
Oh, really?
To any of that, yeah.
No
So,
shit.
Like I was just focused on college sports,
Right.
and trying to get into college in general. But like now that like we were adults, like 2.5 years ago, you can kind of see that like. All right, it freaking sucks right now, but there's no way people are going to start to move out of the city fully.
Right.
Maybe the people who haven't been here as long think that it's beneficial for them to go buy a house in Connecticut. They're starting a family, go to New Jersey, starting a family, whatever. They want more space. Yeah, sure. But like at the same time, at that particular moment when the pandemic had just started, if you were to go to Bushwick during something like that, like you could get a great deal, a huge apartment. And now it's just like, anytime somebody's lease is up, the rent's going to probably shoot through the freaking
That's what's
roof.
happening, dude. Because I know so many people that got so fucked with COVID deals where they're like, ooh, now I'm going to move to New York City.
Right, and then they get 3 months free, something like that.
Yeah, and now they're all like, I don't know what the fuck to do. My landlord's raising my rent $1,500, and it's like, yeah, dog, I kind of saw this was going to happen. This is what I told you when you moved, and you're like, this is a good idea. I was like, no, you're going to get fucked. And it's happening, and it's like, I'm sitting pretty with my apartment that I've been in since before the pandemic, and I'm like, nothing's changing.
You have pretty good relationship with your landlord?
It's fine. As good as it's going to get. It's
I mean, not somewhere where like your landlord would just be like, all right, Max, like we're jumping the rent up 40%.
They raised it like $200, and I was like, I can handle that. Right, okay. Like between me and my roommate, we can make $200 work.
Yeah.
And it's great, dude. And I am going to die in this apartment. I never want to leave, dude. It's the best.
So when did you decide to move to New York, and what was the goal of moving to New York? Was it comedy?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to live in New York since I was a kid, always. My whole family, my mom's side is all from here. This was always the goal. Like, I wanted to be here. Stand-up kind of gave me the reason to move. So I did stand-up for, like, I did it a couple years in Atlanta and, like, traveled. I was a big road guy when I lived in Atlanta because it was, really? Yeah, because it's cheap to live. You don't have to worry about, like here I feel guilty when I leave. It's like, fuck, I pay so much money to live in this city. I want to be here. There, it was like I can really like develop my chops on the road, and it was like, all right, I can get a 30-minute set in, I don't know, Greenville, South Carolina.
Damn, but that was just like by yourself, or you were like touring with someone?
Michael Rowland and I was the first tour, but like a lot of it was me alone opening for people and like learning how to feature and get like a tight 20. And then when I thought I had 20, I moved to New York. I was like, I maybe have 5. After like 4 years of like, all right, I know what I'm doing. It was like, no, I don't. But I moved up here to do comedy. Like, enough people from Atlanta moved here where I was like, I want to be there. And that was it, yeah.
Nice. And so, you moved to Bushwick then when you came here?
Yeah.
How'd you meet a roommate?
Facebook, dude. I had some fucking weirdos, dude.
That, dude. I can imagine. Well, I mean, Craigslist worse than Facebook, I would say, but I don't know. Tell me.
I mean, we had, dude, the first guy that was there, like, he was pretty decent. I like him. We wound up moving to Crown Heights together. We had another guy that just disappeared for 3 months, and our apartment wound up being condemned while I was on the road.
So he wasn't paying rent also?
No, he was paying rent, but we wasn't there. We don't know what happened to him. He just kind of disappeared, paid rent, and we're like, all right, dude, as long as the check doesn't bounce, like, I don't give a shit. But I was I think I was in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and my roommate was like, dog, we're getting evicted. Like, the apartment's condemned. We got to get out of here. And we just kind of left the other dude. We were like, we don't know where he is.
What does that even mean, the apartment was condemned?
So apparently my landlord at that time had not, it was all kinds of fucked up, not up to code sort of a deal. We didn't have heat. We didn't have hot water. It was like a disaster. It was fucking bad.
Yeah.
Do you remember the bomb cyclone? Like 2000, I guess it was 2017, end of 2017.
Big flooding?
No, it was the big snowstorm where there was like 6 feet of snow or some shit. We didn't have an AC unit, but we had a sleeve where an AC unit should go. And when the bomb cyclone hit, we also had like 2 feet of snow in the apartment.
The apartment?
Yeah, dog.
Below grade?
No, way below grade, dude. This thing was a fucking war zone, dude. We didn't have shit. We didn't have.
Maybe it was an illegal apartment.
Oh, it was very illegal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that part wasn't clear.
Sense, yeah.
Yeah, and so my landlord kept starting new shell companies and selling the apartment to himself for $1. So he would skirt code, and we just have snow and be like, I guess this is living in New York, dude. This is the big city. And
just snow in your fucking living room.
I thought everybody did that. Yeah, man. I was just like, no, not in the bedroom because I didn't have windows in the bedroom, dude.
Yeah,
the living room.
Okay.
Yeah, dog. The bedroom did. My bedroom was originally one bedroom that was split into 2, and it was just like, we'll fucking make it work.
Just a fresh wall.
Yeah, and then the living room was snow. It was very pretty. In the winter, dude.
Because the snow stayed white.
Beautiful, dude. Yeah, man. It rocked. But yeah, I legitimately was like, well, this is just how people live unless they're billionaires. And it took me a while to be like, nah, dude, you just don't have to live in squalor when you live here. It's not that hard to just do a little research before you move somewhere. And then I moved to another place in Bushwick, had 4 other fucking weirdo roommates, and then
all random.
Yeah, we had a guy that like he moved his girlfriend down that was telling us once, and we were all like, all right, well, I guess we have a 5th roommate or some shit. We had another guy that was just smoking cigarettes in the house, and we're like, dog, come on, you can smoke weed. We don't give a shit. But, like, you're blowing smoke in my room, dude. Like,
also, cigarette smell, I feel like, sticks to things.
Yeah, weed
More
does
so
it.
than weed.
Do you smoke pot?
A lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, do you smoke in this room?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I can't smell it.
Right, but the thing is, also before podcasts, I'll go like 3 hours before, and also you notice I have the AC in the window.
Right.
And I got that fan coming in from there.
Damn, you're prepped, dude.
So
I like you. I like this.
3 hours before, you know what I mean? I don't want you to walk into my apartment. It's just smelling like.
I would give a shit. It's like,
but in general, yes, it doesn't really. As long as you like have an hour or two to prepare or get it out of there, it doesn't smell. Cigarette smoke, another.
Dog, I haven't smoked a cigarette in a long time. This jacket still smells like cigarettes from 10 years ago. It just will never go away. That shit.
Stench, yeah.
It does, but with pot, I'm like, hell yeah.
Well, also, I feel like there's just so many ingredients in cigarettes. One of them is going to stick to you.
That's right. And this guy was smoking cigarettes. More importantly, he was smoking meth in our basement, too. Smell doesn't stick.
Smell that?
No, you can't. So I was cool with it. Yeah. I don't give a shit, dude, but.
Was there any lingering of smell, though, when you smoke meth? Like, does meth smell when you smoke it?
It smells, you smell chemicals.
Oh, it just
for
smells
sure.
Like Windex or something?
Yeah, but it's kind of nice.
Okay.
And it's
like
kind of nice.
Glassy
and it's
crystal meth from Breaking Bad?
Yes.
I always talk about how I want to try that.
I mean,
that's a bit. I don't know if I actually want to try it.
Unless
I have it, dude.
Dog, I won't judge you for doing anything, dude. I mean, I've gotten into weird. I've got a friend, my favorite thing. I had a friend that moved here, and he was like, yeah, dude, the last night before I left Atlanta, I smoked crack with a hitchhiker. And I was like,
do you?
Yeah, dude.
Crazy.
Atlanta rules, man. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, man, I would love to go to Atlanta.
You've never been?
No, I know a bunch of people, yourself included, that are from Atlanta and say great things about it.
Do you like to party?
Sure.
Then you'll love Atlanta, dude.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's like I still think it's the prettiest city on the planet.
How often do you go back?
I was there 2 weeks ago, but it was the first time I had been back since the pandemic.
Oh wow.
And it's changed the city.
And
like
how?
It's just so much more built up, and it's like what you're talking about in Bushwick, I'm watching happen to like my old neighborhood in Atlanta. I used to pay like $625 for a bedroom in this apartment in Atlanta that's now going for like $5,000. It's crazy how quickly that city shot up and gentrified. To a point where like I really don't recognize big pockets of it that I used to, and it's bizarre. But all my friends are comics, and the comedy scene with that has gotten huge.
What's one of the best clubs down there?
Well, the Laughing Skull is
Laughing Skull?
Yeah, that's my home club, and I still think it's like the greatest comedy club in the world. But there's a million cool DIY shows that really kind of fucking made a name for themselves, like Star Bar. It's a Monday show. It shouldn't work. It's Monday from like 9:30 to 1 a.m.
Oh wow!
It should not be good, and it's the most fun you can have.
What is it, like 20 comics doing 10 minutes?
No, dude. It's like, fuck. It's got to be like 16, 17, all doing 5, and then a headliner. But it is a blast, and it's full the entire time, and the audience switches out at like 11:30, so you get a whole new crop of people. It rules.
Is there like an intermission or no?
No. And you'd have, like, everybody would drop in. That was, like, the spot people would hang out after they would headline the weekend at the Skull. They'd hang out to surprise and do Star Bar. So, like, when I started out, you'd be doing this show with people like Rory Scovel and, like, Nick Vatterott would come through, or Ron White was always there. So you get this, like, really fucking weird sense of, like, oh, shit, I'm doing comedy with, like, professionals, and they're great. And it's like, but it's still 15 people that could be randomly thrown onto this show.
Would like T.I. stop by at a place like that?
Yes, he would, and I'm glad you are asking.
Yes.
Ooh,
let's talk about it.
Ooh, I hate that he's doing stand-up.
You?
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. He is bumping people at shows. The comics in Atlanta don't like him. And that's kind of my litmus test. I had no issue with T.I. personally before. It's like I would never interact with him. I liked his music growing up. It was at every bar mitzvah I ever went to.
Yes.
It's like, that's the dude. But he's coming through with this like fucking swag about him where he's like, no, I'm T.I., so I can get whatever I want in comedy. And it's like, yeah, but you're a shitty comedian and you sound like a worse person.
I saw you had an issue with one of those girls on stage. I can't remember
her name's
name.
Lauren Knight. And I don't really know her. I just met her for the first time when I was at home. She's a fucking killer, dude. She is an excellent comic. And like for the 30 seconds we interacted, I was like, she's very nice. And then I saw the T.I. thing, and I was like, yo, fuck this guy, dude. Like, I have no fucking patience for people that are, like, shitty and also pretending to do comedy.
So just to give you guys a background on what I'm actually talking about with Max here, T.I. apparently was at a comedy club and this woman was on stage and apparently he was like heckling her in some manner.
Yes.
So she came back in and was like, all right, well, at least I don't have sexual assault allegations or something like that. And then T.I. came on stage, took the mic, bugged out, and it was a whole issue.
Right. And
what club was that at, by the way?
It's not I think that was like an open mic. That wasn't like, so...
It was a packed open mic.
Yeah, that's the thing. So starting out in Atlanta, I got really fucking spoiled. Open mics are shows. It's one of those things where it's like there are always going to be less comics than people at an open mic in Atlanta. And a lot of it is because it's like these are bars. Yeah, so...
It's like in New York, it's complete opposite.
Yeah, anywhere else. It's the complete opposite. It shouldn't be that way. That's why you get a lot of Atlanta comics that I think are really good is like... You come through in this way of like, oh, I actually have to perform for people. I can't just like throw a half premise out and hope that like comics jitter at it and they're like, haha. It's like, no, there are people here. And even though you're not getting paid, this is still new material. It's like you come into it with more of like a worked out bit than just a thought. And I think that translates to anywhere you move after. It's like you still have that ethic of like, no, I can't just go with a half baked idea. It has to at least be thought out before I'm comfortable saying it in front of people, even if it sucks. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, absolutely.
Yeah. But T.I., you know, I was pretty okay with like the idea of him because he was showing up to mics. He wasn't like just going to the club. He wasn't showing up to shows and like, I want a spot. He was like putting in what felt like work, but he's still so goddamn pompous about it. And he's like apparently doing shitty material after bumping people. And he's just becoming a problem for everybody around. From what I hear, I don't know. I've never met him, never seen him. I don't know what it's like to be around him. But the general consensus from people in Atlanta is he is annoying at shows and it's a problem. And now he's just being a dick more than being annoying.
How much time is he doing in these shows?
So fucking much. Like, you know, it's how long have you been doing stand-up?
Like 3.5 years.
Okay.
I was like an improv guy initially.
For sure. But it's like, you know, when your first 6 months of stand-up, when you think you have 20 minutes, but you have 30 seconds, if you are lucky, and he's going up like, dude, I got 20 minutes. Like, no, you don't, dude. No, you do not. And that's okay. I fucking wish somebody told me when I started that it's like, yeah, man, you're going to think you're hot shit and all this, and you're not, but that's all right. It won't be that way forever. You will get better, but this is something that takes time and effort and patience with, and that's all right. You know, you don't have to be hot shit right out the gate, and you won't be. And no one's told T.I. that, and he's got this fucking mentality of like, I'm a big star, and he is, but that doesn't mean you can just like fucking do something else and expect to be the best at it.
Yeah, it's a different industry. Like, I mean, in general, when these stars, you know, hop into like the movie game, you know, maybe their first movie isn't so great. Michael Jordan in Space Jam. And even he was
Michael Jordan in baseball, dude.
I was gonna say baseball and then golf. You know, he's great at other sports, but obviously takes a little bit of time. So how much time do you think you're comfortable with going up on stage now? You were saying in like Atlanta, you're doing 20, 30 minutes. If you were to go on a New York stage and someone was like, all right, Max, do as much time as you're comfortable doing.
Well, I mean, like I do hours on the road now. And so I feel cool. Like you know, an hour is really 45 minutes, but like, you know, I feel good about it. I'm more critical now than I was years ago. So I started doing like 45 way too early on. But at the time I thought I was fucking no problem. Now that I actually like care about my jokes, I'm like, all right, yeah, I've got a 45 that's good. Is it great? Not where I'd say it's great. I'd say like 30 of it is like airtight, perfect. But there's still 15 that I'm always working with and I'm trying to like get great. But it's like, there's no fucking deadline on this, you know. There's no timeline for when you're supposed to be excellent at stand-up. And I don't know, now I'm much more aware of my surroundings and shit, and it's like, yeah, I feel good at 45, but sometimes there'll be 35 where it's like, all right, well, now I have to turn on crowd work because they're not getting the other 10 minutes. They're not gonna like it. I felt
that. Like, even when I do sets in my bedroom over there in front of the mirror, I feel that. Like, if at this particular moment, these 5 minutes, I didn't feel I delivered that well, I won't go and do that extra 5 minutes that's based on that 5 minutes, something like that. So when do you think you're going to put together like an hour of material and, I don't know, put it on a YouTube and sell it or some stuff like that? It's everyone, as all comics, you know, build to an hour, sell it, do it, and then build another hour, and then, you know.
It's funny where I'm at with it, because that changes all the time. Like, when I first started, I was like, fucking, I'm going to have a special out next year. And now it's like, I'm doing this new thing where I'm like, I'm looking through all my old sets from when I started to now, and it's like I'm
like
real
video or audio?
Video, and I'm like whatever I've got and listening, but it's like I'm trying to tweak old shit that I first thought of when I first started comedy. I'm trying to like rewrite it for now, and like where do I think about it? And it scares me, the idea of, two reasons scare me, the idea of releasing something. First is, okay, I've got to start all over. Fine, I don't mind that. But does that...
I mean, after you release the hour, you have to...
Yeah, it's with new material. But it's like, what really scares me is like, does that mean that this joke is done? You know, I've got a bit that I'm like starting to put into like new things again, and I'm trying to figure out like, is this actually a funny concept, or was this something that I just thought was funny when I was 22? And I'm afraid of the idea of like, fuck, does that mean I can't do that anymore with these old bits? Are they done? And I don't know. It also seems like maybe the hour isn't as important now as it used to be. A lot of this is, when I started, the goal was to headline clubs. Always, always, always. That's what I wanted.
Touring and headlining?
Mm-hmm. And still is. That's still the goal. But now it's like, people don't watch or listen to a full hour of comedy anymore, you know? And that's why I think the club model is kind of disappearing, is like, people have been taught, especially over the last 2 years, like stand-up exists in, 2-minute chunks on TikTok or on Instagram or wherever it is. I don't think people have the attention span to sit down. Like when I was a kid, I remember like you listened to a CD of comedy or a CD of music or anything like that. And people skip now, or they don't do that in the past. Whereas I think now it's like, do I need to release something an hour at once, or do I release a bunch of 2-minute clips that equal an hour over time?
Well, how do you mean about you don't think that the club model would work? What do you mean?
A lot of clubs are just disappearing, and they have been for a long time. And clubs historically do not pay comics what they should be paid, like it's on the road, where it's like, it just doesn't make what it used to make. And a lot of clubs are switching from the headliner model, like the Laughing Skull in Atlanta. And I think ultimately it's good for the scene itself down there. When I started, there was always a headliner, a feature, a guest spot, and a host.
So for example, like explain.
Yeah. So the traditional American club model is there's a host that does like 5 to 10 minutes, a guest spot that's maybe 5, 7, and a guest spot is hit or miss. It doesn't always happen. And then there's a feature doing 20 to 30, and a headliner doing 45 to an hour. And that was how it went for a long time. The Laughing Skull, I'm sure other clubs did it, but I saw it at the Laughing Skull at home, where they stopped bringing in headliners and they would do showcases, like the New York model, which is, maybe 8 to 10 comics all doing 8 to 12 minutes, right? And without that, you don't have a headliner, so that means they're not bringing in people from other places. It's locals mostly and visiting comics that can do time, but they're not going to get headliner money. And I think that's ultimately, it develops your local scene way faster, and it makes people stronger. And I think that's ultimately a very good thing. But it's not the same now, where it's like people can't come to the Laughing Skull and headline, And it's different, and I don't think it's bad. I just think now you're seeing people that are like, all right, I'm going to do a music venue instead of a comedy club when I go to Des Moines, Iowa, or something like that. Like I'm going to be in Fargo, North Dakota on Friday, and I'm not doing a comedy club.
That's great.
Yeah, it's like it's a weekend at an event. It's like I think it's a music venue.
Dakota, dude.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Dude. I love it, man. It's my favorite thing, but it's not a comedy club, and I don't think you have to go through a comedy club anymore, and I don't think you have to release an hour anymore. Even though that's what I always thought I would do, and it's still something I'd like to do. I think you can chunk it up, and you can release this in different ways than you could 10 years ago, There's different avenues to get your content out than there were even before the pandemic. It's just a different way of doing it. And I don't think it's bad. I just think, you do an hour set, and instead of releasing it as one complete thing, it's like, okay, well, now I can put 10 jokes on Instagram as opposed to 1 hour on YouTube. Does that make sense?
No, definitely. I mean, it's super different. You're seeing comics release it on YouTube. You're seeing comics release their hour special on Netflix, HBO Max, whatever it is. You're also seeing comics just do 15 minutes at all the hottest clubs in New York City, stuff like that, and mixing it up and maybe not doing a full hour or releasing a special, something like that. So, I mean, the times are definitely changing, but in a situation where you're going to North Dakota, I mean, that wouldn't happen, though, unless people would know your material through video, though, correct?
Video, I mean, I get some airplay on Sirius for a few jokes, but that's not where, I mean, I'm not a draw, and I'm aware of that. There are places I can go where it's like the way I started was I made a very like concerted effort when I was younger to like drive around and just do shitty shows, right? Like you'd go to an open mic in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they'll let you close and give you 10 minutes. That's cool. You make no money, but you have a good time. The real sell on that, though, is you come back next year, they'll put together a show for you. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, they know that I can handle 10. Why don't they give me 20? And now I go back, they'll put an hour-long show for me together, and people will come to that. Like, there's a different way of building a fan base than there used to be, and I'm not saying I have one, but, like, I just don't think that there's one singular approach to comedy. There's no way of getting good at it. There's no like rule book, and there's definitely no way of like building a career out of this that has like a clear path, especially now that things like late night are gone. And if you do late night, it's like who the fuck watches, right? Nobody has cable anymore. And it's just different, and you've got to adapt in different ways, and I think that's why you see people releasing free specials on YouTube, because it's like who is watching, like truly, who is sitting down to watch an HBO special right now that wasn't already going to in the first place? You know, it's about making your own shit and putting it out on your own. And that's where YouTube comes into play. It's where social media comes into play. But it's also like the biggest part of me is like, why do I want to release all of that? You know, I love doing stand-up. It's my favorite thing. And I've kind of like this year made like a very conscious effort to like, instead of focus on the success part of this, instead of focus on the career part, like I just want to have as much fun as I can this year. That's it. And Fargo, North Dakota is not going to get me, you know, I'm never going to be famous by going to Fargo and like landing some shit there, but I will have more fun than anybody here that weekend. I know that I will have more fun in Fargo than I will in anybody in New York, because it's like I get to do comedy for an hour in front of a paying audience. This is the dream.
Are you going there with anyone?
No. So it's like, that's the fun part for me, right? Like, I love that shit where it's like, I'm going by myself, where I'm going to have to figure out how to entertain myself in a city that I've never been to before and just enjoy it. And it'll be good. It always is. And I don't know, that's the joy for me, is the doing it, not the...
For sure. I mean, dude, you have a great positive outlook on
you have
comedy
to.
And everything. You definitely have to.
I fucking spent so much time being miserable doing this, and I was like, I just don't want to be unhappy doing my favorite thing anymore. And that's kind of 2022 is all about having fun by any means necessary.
Me too. Do you have anything lined up besides that North Dakota show coming up this summer?
I mean, I'm doing a couple things in LA in June, and then I'm doing a 10-day stretch in Denver for in September. I know that's far.
Oh wow.
I know that's far out, but I'm doing 2 weekends in Denver, and I can't fucking wait. And like that's gonna be the showing up with almost no material and trying to figure out how to build. The goal is to walk out of Denver after 10 days with not a tight 20, but an idea of what a tight 20 of new material will look like.
Wow.
So
that's a lot in 10 days.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, Denver's cool because you can do like fucking 25 shows in 10 days if you really want to. So it's like the time is out there, and the stages are available if you're willing to like find them, and if you're willing to like just have no expectations, you can really have a good time and build something out of that good time.
So when you go to some of these shows in New York, is there any particular time that you feel like, all right, I need to crush this 15 minutes right here? Is it like an important show or something like that?
If I'm doing I'm doing something at the Bell House Sunday, which is, it's a bigger room.
Where's that?
It's in Brooklyn, in Gowanus, but it's like a theater. And so I'm only doing 5-6 on it, but it's like, all right, that's not something I'm going to try something new on. That's like, I've got my 5-6 that I can pull out of my pocket and it's fine. But, if I'm doing something like any of the like bar shows around town, it's like, I don't give a shit, dude. If people aren't paying to be there, I am going to have fun and work on shit. That's the goal, right? I want to work on this so I can keep getting better. That's the goal, always to have fun and keep getting better. If it's a club, if it's something people paid, or if it's a bar show people paid money to be on, it's like, you're going to get my good shit and I might riff a bit, but it's not going to be, hey, here's me with a notebook for, 10 minutes figuring shit out.
Which is more so when comics don't have, or there was no pressure between people paying money, buying drinks, whatever it is.
Yeah,
to a free show.
Yeah, and I say that, but like I am a firm believer in bring your notebook on stage every time. Like, the goal, like part of the have fun this year is I want to try something new every time I'm on stage and it's not a big show.
How often are you booked this year?
Enough. Oh yeah, for like, I'll probably get about 5 sets a week that I'm booked for in advance, and then I can, I'll probably get like another 3 or 4 throughout the week that are just like, hey, can you be here?
And by the way, June we have to get you on a show in June.
I'd love to. Yeah,
yeah. We'll get you lined up once we get June dates. But anyway,
yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's like there's always been this like edgelord part of comedy where people are like, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like, why the fuck can't I bring a notebook on stage? I think people are like, oh, it's not professional. It's like, I still wrote the fucking jokes. They're still here. They are mine. I wrote them. Nobody gives a shit if I'm like, ooh, I'm sequencing right now and I'm trying to figure out, does this joke fit here as opposed to here? Nobody is going to fucking be like, well, this isn't professional. He's looking at his notebook for an order. Like, fuck that, man. I'm so tired of like being told how to do comedy where it's like, is it getting laughs? Is it working? Are people enjoying themselves? Then you're doing it right. That's all. That is the barrier. Are you getting your laughs? Then you are doing it right. And I don't know, man. Why did I start talking about this? Why did I start saying this? Oh, yeah. It's like, bring your notebook, do what makes you happy, and do what's going to get laughs. And as long as you're doing that, I don't see a wrong way to do stand-up. I think, there's a lot of focus like, well, that's the alt scene, that's the club scene. It's like, why can't they fucking both be comics? Why is that such a division? I just think comedy can be so many different things, and if it's making you happy to do it and it's getting laughs, then by all means do whatever you want to fucking do.
Are you producing any shows these
days?
Not
anymore. Not right now. I used to. I produced a bunch for a long time, and eventually I'm sure I will again, but it's like part of having fun means not having the stress.
Sure,
you run shows, dude. It's a fucking nightmare. I did it for the first 6 years or whatever I did stand up, and then I was like, I gotta just focus on doing comedy and not the other part of it. I don't know. I probably will again, but I don't want to do any more of the I ran a show at Niagara every Wednesday, and it was my favorite thing in the world, and I would do that again. But it's not fun. I don't miss because I was so bad at producing shows. Some people are good at it. I'm not. I can't get people into a room, and I'm tired of apologizing to people for that. And I'm tired of fucking pretending no, we're gonna make a big deal out of it. It's like nobody's here. Yeah. Why are we pretending? Right. I liked it because I like producing empty shows because you can just do whatever the fuck you want in an empty room. And if comics are watching, it's like great. I have some form of an audience to test something out, and it's probably not going to be jokes I would do for a regular audience. This is going to be me having fun and trying to make my peers laugh, which is always the best laugh anyway.
So what's your favorite room right now in the city or favorite club?
I love, dude, the barbershop in the Lower East Side.
I love that. I saw you there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, man. I do a lot there because for Ronnie's the best. I fucking love that dude. But also, that's such a unique space as far as the audience that comes there. It's not like any other audience that that you see around the city. It's young people with money, and that's the hardest fucking nut to crack, man. So if you get laughs there, it's oh shit, this is going to work almost anywhere because they're young, they understand what you're talking about, but they're also wealthy, so they kind of hold you to a standard.
BYOB, right?
Yeah, man, and it's fun. It's a challenge, and it's a puzzle. I love it there, dude. I'm really fucking enjoying these emptier rooms right now too that don't have as many people because you watch a lot of comics fucking kiss of death. They go up and they're like, well, nobody here's having fun. I'm just gonna really fucking scold the audience for that. And it's nah, dude. If you just have a good time, the audience will follow your lead.
Yeah, totally. And that's even how I feel producing shows.
Yeah.
As long as I go up there and it really depends. You can have 20 people at a show. You can have 100 people at a show. Whatever. It depends on the night. But as long as I'm hosting and I bring the energy up on stage,
yeah.
I feel like it does rub off on the people, at least initially.
It definitely does, dude. There's some great comics that are terrible hosts because they don't understand yeah, dude, this is the job part where you have to just be high energy, make people feel like they want to be there, show them that they made the right decision. That's the job part of this. It's not just doing jokes. It's being a performer and an entertainer and a host. And it's that's a fucking hard thing to get good at. So when that's
where I feel improv has really helped me a lot. Just in the beginning of a show, if something's not working, whatever, just the energy level on any joke just really helps.
Dude, and I love that shit because stand-ups are always oh, fuck improv. It's fuck you, dude. Improv rocks. When improv's good, it's better than stand-up.
When improv, you're right. When
I really
is good. When you see some of these insane groups in UCB, obviously RIP UCB and NYC. But like some of those old groups when I was taking classes at Upright Citizens Brigade.
I'm so jealous. I used to
go to a show, dude, Wednesday night at 10 p.m. at the theater because we had to. Like for all of our classes, they would make you go to a show once a week just for practice, whatever it was. But like some of those groups, I swear, man, like even like a 30-minute show, I'd be laughing half the time. Easy, just at some of the dumb stuff that was happening, or some of the simple things that you think of when you're not rushed on stage, comes out. And that helps when you're I don't know, looking for the next joke or looking for the next word on the stand-up stage.
But that's why long sets are so fun, dude. So like I try anytime I'm doing over 20, or over 15, I try and leave myself like 5 minutes where it's like I'm just gonna riff. I'm gonna wander around and see what I can find because that's the fun part. That's the joy. And improv is all that. So like I understand when stand-ups are like fuck improv, and it's like you've probably only seen bad improv, dude. Like. When improv's bad, it's the worst. But when it's good, there is nothing funnier. Stand-up doesn't compare. Sketch doesn't compare. Movies don't compare. Improv, when it's good, is my favorite way to watch comedy.
I like that you say that. What was one of your favorite improv groups or something? Was it like Who's Line It? Is it
No,
anyway?
No. So like when I started stand-up in Atlanta, there was a group called Salon du Shoguns. It was 3 dudes, and they've since disbanded. But like. I would watch these guys and lose my mind. Like, you forget just how funny something can be when it's not planned, and you're watching, like... Because improv is good because of the things that they're saying, but it's even better because of the way people react, right? And just watching people try and make themselves laugh, and it's good, that's the funniest thing in the world, man. I don't know, but when it's bad, it's just like, all right, I'm watching some 35-year-old white dudes play games with each other. And this does suck. Yeah. This for sure sucks. But when it's on fire, dude, I'm like in tears laughing.
Yeah, me too. Love improv and stand-up. I mean, more so over I guess since the pandemic, I've switched over to stand-up.
Yeah.
I used to love improv, more so than stand-up. But improv was just, for me, it was just always so difficult. And I feel like at one point I got good, good enough to potentially be on one of these house teams.
Yeah.
When the pandemic hit. And then was just switching over to stand-up because in New York City, like the improv scene since the pandemic, I mean, kind of just slowed down significantly.
Well, it's got to be hard, right? Like,
yeah, when there's 8 people and you bring them to one show, you're going to split $100 8 ways, something like that. Even making somewhat of a living.
Right. Well, and the other thing, like COVID, I knew some people that were like, "We're doing improv on Zoom," and I was like, "That sounds brutal, dude."
Oh,
like,
man.
I love
thinking of stand-up on Zoom too, improv on Zoom.
I wound up like. I didn't fall in love with doing stand-up on Zoom, but I did it enough where I was like, all right, I think I have a pace for this.
Did you do a lot of stand-up where like the people on the screen were all muted?
I did a few, yeah, and I was like, fuck that. But, at a certain point, it's like, all right, I know what the job is here, and I understand how to do this, and I'm just going to do it, and it's fine, and it's not the worst. Zoom or improv on Zoom, I can't imagine. Like, the latency issues, the lag with just like...
yeah, the lag.
Yeah, fuck
what?
that,
What'd
dude.
You say?
Right, what? Huh? And
just a lot of no's.
Yeah, dude. Just a lot of... What the fuck? Yeah.
No, dude.
But, I mean, I used to love going to UC. There was a fun show. There were like a bunch of fun stand-up shows with improv.
I even still have like the sheet on my refrigerator, the Herald. You see that?
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
I have other funny stickers on there.
Yeah, because like... Did you ever go to like... what was that shit? Gentrify? At UCB?
Maybe. What was that? Just
UCB
team
East. Show? It was a team show. I think Gentrify was the team.
East, the one next to Two Boots Pizza?
Yes. And they would have stand-ups on, and then they would do heralds around, the stand-ups. But it was so much fucking fun, dude. And like, that's the things. Like, comedy does not have to be strictly stand-up, and I think stand-ups always forget that. They always forget this is not the only way that people laugh. And they get so precious about it where they're like, sketch is dumb, improv fucking sucks. And it's like, nah, dude. These are all different ways of going about comedy.
All comedy is beautiful comedy.
It is, man. Yeah, and it's really fucking... When people like limit themselves to like this, fuck improv, fuck sketch, fuck other comics that are alt, fuck comics that are club. It's like, dude, what makes you happy? Because it's not comedy. That part I can understand. Like, just fucking stop. Stop doing this if it's making you this upset. And I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There's no right way to get laughs, and there's no wrong way.
Just freaking be happy and make people laugh. And if
That's
you
all you
love
got
to
to
laugh, come to the next Ted Jones comedy show. And Max, please, why don't you give us your
Shit,
Instagram
I'm out of
information,
breath.
bro?
Yes.
And also, next show's coming up besides the Ted Jones comedy show in June. We'll get you on a lineup there soon.
Yeah, when's this coming out?
This is coming out this Thursday.
Yes.
So today is Thursday.
Oh,
you're going to North Dakota
hell yeah.
tomorrow,
If you're in Fargo, North Dakota.
I love it.
Tomorrow, Friday, May 6th and 7th, I'm going to be at the Front Street Tap Room in Fargo, North Dakota. Shows are at 8. If this Sunday night, if you're in Brooklyn, I'm going to be at the Bell House for newcomers.
Dude, look at you.
Also at 8, I think. 8 o'clock. You can find me on Instagram, MaxFine_, Twitter, MaxFine_. Also follow at In the Minivan Pod.
Oh, love that.
Yes, it's a fun time. If you want to hear me get real stoned with my best friend since childhood, we have a good time.
Absolutely. Max Fine.
Ted, thank you
so much. That was really fun. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.